Good morning for 99.5 AM 1340 WGRV. This is Reid Seals, and here for our monthly interview with Greene County Mayor Kevin Morrison. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Reid.
So first off, talk about the Broadband Ready Community Resolution that was approved on Monday.
We are very excited, Reid, to be entering into the broadband market and having Greenville Light and Power as our partner. And the steps that are necessary for us to take in order to secure some of this grant funding is to declare Greene County a broadband-ready community. Now, there were certain requirements that were in place as prerequisites to do that, and Greene County meets all of those. So it's more of a function of whether or not our application is detailed enough in certain areas for us to be declared a broadband-ready community. But we're to that step. The commission approved that Monday evening, and we're ready to go. We selected Greenville Light and Power as our dance partner, so to speak. They are eager to take the initial funding that we have set aside in that regard to parlay that into more funding that they can get for Greenville and Greene County to get broadband started, and I know they're started. So we're looking forward to that endeavor, and we're looking forward to get connected into the 21st century with broadband, particularly fiber. So the action that was also taken Monday was to partner with Bright Ridge for the handful of customers, about 200 homes in Greene County, primarily in the Fall Branch and Limestone area right around Davy Crockett area that Bright Ridge serves as customers. So we give them the green light to support their application for those customers in their service area, and then Greenville Light and Power for the customers in the remainder of Greene County. So we're excited about it. We think it's going to be great for business and industry recruitment, education delivery. This is going to be transformational. So it's a process. It's going to take a little while. It's certainly not going to materialize overnight, but we think we have taken a great stride toward that endeavor.
There was also a firefighting equipment grant that was approved on Monday. Tell us about that.
Yes, Reid, the grant that was available to us was a community development block grant awarded from the First Tennessee Development District. There were certain prerequisites that we had to meet with regard to income levels of our residents across the county, but it's a very sort of broad-based grant of about $500,000 that required a small match from the county's perspective, which any time that you sort of have a small percentage grant, that someone's going to give you a larger amount of funding for something as much of a need as firefighting equipment is for our volunteer firefighters, then we'll take that all day long. The grant that we have secured is going to be applied toward turnout gear, and that's the coverings, the coveralls, the coats and the pants and the boots and the helmet that our firefighters need to enter into a burning structure to save life, limb, and property. That equipment's very expensive. It's about $3,200 a set. It has a shelf life or a service life of about 10 years. And because that equipment's very expensive, our volunteer fire departments have a very, very difficult time raising funds to keep that equipment current. So in securing this grant, we're able to provide enough of this turnout gear across every department, and Greene County has 15 volunteer fire companies and one volunteer rescue squad that utilizes this type of gear. So it's very expensive, and we're able to secure this grant and help them out in this regard. We also look forward to helping them out hopefully a little bit further down in the future, sometime in the fall, early winter, with another grant. It's a regional thing through they call it the AFG, the American Firefighters Grant, to secure more equipment for them. Again, trying to utilize our grant funding that we can secure to get and replace the most expensive equipment that the fire departments have to maintain so that they can remain very capable at firefighting when the time comes. So stay tuned, I guess, for more good news in helping the volunteer fire departments with equipment and grant funding.
So talk about the opioid litigation update that was given at the meeting on Monday.
Yes, our attorney, Crystal Jesse, offered an update as to where the opioid settlement is. We expect sometime around the June-July time frame that we should have a great deal more clarity on the amount of funding that Greene County is going to receive. Of course, the opioid epidemic, if you will, has been very, very difficult on many families. And these organizations that marketed, these companies that marketed these opioids, in very questionable marketing practices, downplaying the addiction qualities and things like that, they're now being held to account, and we look forward to seeing what damages are going to be awarded in that regard to Greene County to offset some of the costs that we've already incurred. This has been a very costly epidemic in life and property, and it's been a very costly epidemic with regard to treatment and getting back to some type of normal in terms of recouping people's lives, people's property. It's sort of a very sad chapter, if you will, in society's book, and we look forward to getting more information on it, more clarity on it as the summer develops. So that's what our attorney said, was to sort of stay tuned, give us an update as to where things stood at the moment, and so we're just sort of in a standby mode.
So finally, what update can you give us on the old Tacoma Hospital?
Well, we have a meeting, an internal meeting every week on Wednesday with regard to the hospital and the renovations that are going on there. The most exciting news is that we think that we have come to a decision and a conclusion about the high-pressure boilers over there. We think that the plan that we have in place with a more conventional HVAC, more efficient HVAC system to replace the high-pressure boilers that were first installed over there. And I know we've talked about this before, and it can't be said, I think, often enough, that the high-pressure boilers first installed at the construction of the hospital to provide, sterilization water, domestic hot water, cleaning, and the like. The hospital required massive amounts of hot water for those types of things, and a regular office complex does not. The difficulty is that those high-pressure boilers also supplied the circulation water for heating and cooling, and that's a very sort of inefficient way to do it unless you require massive amounts of hot water, and a regular office building like we would need does not. So we have a plan in place to probably shut those things off in the next 45 to 90 days. We're excited about that because they are very, very costly to maintain and operate and monitor. And it requires special certificates and special permits and special training and special monitoring. It seems like the costs for that never end. So we don't need that. So we're processing those out. We have a contractor that's going to replace all of the windows that do not face the Asheville Highway very soon. That bid has been let out, so that work will start very soon. We have secured the building with regard to physical security. That bid was accepted by the purchasing committee on Monday evening as well. So it'll be a very similar key code system to the one that you see at the annex in the courthouse now for physical security. We're in the process of renewing some of the contracts with regard to mowing maintenance and that sort of thing with some of the companies that previously did that work for the hospital. So some exciting things beginning to break loose. It's hard to see that from the road as you pass by, but there's a lot of activity going on sort of behind those walls up there that suggests that we're well on our way for making sure that we get the sheriff moved over, get the employee clinic moved over and in and stood up and operational, and getting the other functions of government over there to where that we can consolidate and save some money in the long run in through those consolidated operations and through the ability of us to then close and divest ourselves of sort of multiple locations. So.
Well, I want to thank Greene County Mayor Kevin Morrison for joining us this morning. This is Reid Seals for 99.5 FM, AM 1340 WGRV.